Might be on mute. Can you hear me now? Hello? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been freaking talking for 2 minutes here. My microphone's been on mute. All right. I'll start over. Okay. Obviously, we've had a huge back and forth over the day yesterday. We started out up 20 points S&P future, went down 20, up 7, down 20, up 3. I mean, back and forth like crazy pre-market. And then we came into the session, to be honest, it wasn't all that volatile. That being said, we finished on the lows both on the S&P and on the NASDAQ. And there's so many things right now that I think are total wild cards to the market, that there is an incredibly high level of uncertainty right now. That being said, that's obviously a big negative for the market. So we've got to keep that in mind. The big thing that happened yesterday was the Swiss National Bank came out and they removed their price price floor, I'd say, of 120 with the Swiss to the euro. They've done that obviously to try to remain more competitive in the euro region. The problem is that the forex losses that they were starting to take due to them, buying foreign currency reserves is just starting to mount too high, I think, and they had to eventually let go of it. The weakening of the euro has just been too consistent for them to be able to keep that going. We initially had a 30% spike in the euro Swiss to start off the day. As they announced that, a lot of traders were playing off that floor consistently, and that really just made things explode to the upside there. We had Richemont that went totally nuts on the back of that, only to come back down after it sold off 15% in Switzerland. It was a total party yesterday in that stock. I think we're going to see more volatility out of that over the next couple sessions because of the Swiss franc volatility that we're likely to see. So watch that one also very closely. We also had some of the banks that have been out the last couple of days. Bank of America and Citigroup both missing quarter 4 earnings estimates. That throws them in there with JP Morgan as misses. The only one that's actually met estimates so far in terms of the banks, I think, has been Wells Fargo. So you're also adding a little bit of fuel to the fire. Some of the earnings coming out a little bit softer in the States to start earnings season, which also adds another risk factor. Initial jobless claims also came in a little bit higher. So all of a sudden, even the States throws in a little bit of weakness in some of the data that we're starting to see, and we're just seeing yields totally implode across the globe. We're seeing it across, I was having a laugh with some of the guys yesterday. You're getting just a shade over 3% for 10-year Mexican paper at the moment. Do me a favor. This is like the most ridiculous scenario I've ever seen. Negative yields on Japanese 5 years. This is like what the world's never seen this kind of thing before. And for me, this is a total warning sign right now to get the hell out of everything, out of all risk, because right now we're going into a hugely deflationary environment. You're seeing that across the board in yields. You're seeing that in commodities. And I think the stocks have been the slowest to react to that, and stocks do not like deflationary environments. I know I talked about this yesterday. Listen to what I'm saying here. It's a terrible environment for stocks. I'm absolutely right about that. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get bounces and we're going to get up days and whatever, but I think the market can correct a hell of a lot from here. So just be really, really careful trying to pick bottoms, as the market could be falling over the next couple of weeks. All right. So, on from talking my book, let's go on to the Asian markets overnight. All the markets down except for Shanghai. Shanghai just loves to do a little bit of the opposite, but you can see everything else falling, reasonably. Australia, I think, was spared after we saw the bounce in some of the mining stocks yesterday. In Europe, I would expect to see a resumption of the sell-off. We had oil yesterday at one point that was up 5%. We traded to almost $51 on light sweet, all the way back down to 46.5, down 5% on the day. By the end of the day, it's just incredibly volatile, and I think that probably caught some people in the head fakes. I wouldn't be surprised if certain people started trying to pick bottoms and sassle on that yesterday, only to freaking see the oil price implode back again. So maybe caught a couple more guys in the longs there. So I think that Australia maybe traded a little bit better than it necessarily would have, obviously, if we didn't have those rallies yesterday. Not a whole lot of leadership out of Asia, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. If we look at a chart of interest for today, we had talking about the move in the Swiss franc. I'm going to show that again in the chart and just show how volatile it was in terms of the big picture in terms of 1 year. But I mean, that's the kind of thing, 30% move. If you can see how long that took for a 30% move to happen. It took 15 minutes for us to move 30% in the Swiss franc yesterday, and then it took another 15 minutes for us to bounce 15% from there. So if you're trading FX yesterday, you had a total party. All right, if we look at corporate action, we have Foschini Group has agreed to acquire 85% of UK retailer Phase 8. It's been under cautionary for the past little bit. That comes on the back of the earnings yesterday. We'll see how the market takes that today. We've got Goldman Sachs, which is out today as well. Trading revenues have been soft out of all the investment banks, so just keep that in mind going into the earnings call today. And then we got a bunch of stocks going to ex-div on Monday. We got Barlows, Lewis, Clicks, and ARL. So watch all of those. It could be interesting today. Market data out today. We've got German CPI at the opening bell. We've got European CPI at 12. We've got U.S. CPI at 3:30. Then we've got industrial production and University of Michigan sentiment. I think I think it's probably a little bit irrelevant. We've got European announcement coming next week, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's next week in terms of what they're going to do with the quantitative easing program. It got a nice positive step in that direction this week when it was approved by the High Court. So just keep that in mind. I don't know that these numbers are going to make a whole lot of difference. All right, let's get into the maps. First thing that we're going to look at this morning, like I said a second ago, is the USD Swiss franc. I think I need to type that the other way. Try it like that. And sorry. No, man. Okay. It's not coming up correctly. Well, you guys saw it a little bit a second ago on the 1 day, so I'm not even going to worry too much with it. Let's just get into some of the single stock stuff. First thing I wanted to talk about this morning was Naspers. Call it, I don't even know if that's exactly where it should be drawing it. Maybe even should be drawing it a touch lower. Either way, somewhere here between 1540 and 1560, there's support. I'll draw it like this. This is really, I think, where we broke out. On Naspers, I think you can see we obviously down 3.5% on Tencent overnight, so we're going to get a big correction there anyway. Futures down on 500 points. So we'll probably gap down to this on the open. If we start to drop this level, then I think we can come down further. So just watch this. This thing's probably got a little bit more hot air than some of the others in it. Might have a quick failure in it too. All right, MTN yesterday. We came back up, and I would peg this line. I'm drawing it here. I know we had the one close down here, but I think other than that, this level was kind of well defined, and it carries on all the way across to over here. That level's at 100 or 209. We came up and basically closed just a hair below that. As you can see yesterday, we really tested it fully there at the end of the session. MTN, very, very strong day, and strong on big volume. So I think we also had big volume the day before, where we kind of put in or 2 days before, I think, where we started to look like we were putting in a bottom around that 200 Rand level in MTN. So watch this level closely. I think if we get above here, I think we'll have probably seen the low in MTN. But we may also pull back and retest those lows again over the next session or two. So just watch it closely between 200 and that level. I think it's a very big little area to keep an eye on. One of the most amazing things over the last few days has been the way Remgro's managed to trade and hang on. We broke out to new all-time highs in Remgro yesterday. I mean, I think the real breakout occurred a little bit lower than that, but the bottom line is that a big breakout in Remgro, and that's happening when markets are kind of tanking. This is definitely a defensive, but at the end of the day, it's essentially a holding company, so it's getting its earnings from the rest of the index. This thing will start to fall if the market starts to get hammered quite a bit further. Next one we'll look at is Mr. Price. Came out with, I believe it was a trading update yesterday. Looked pretty solid. You saw it trade actually well off the back of that. Right here around 247. This is looking at It's looking like a nice little continuation pattern, almost a little bit of a weak inverse head and shoulder, but I would say a continuation pattern. If we get above 247, this thing to me can definitely go. We topped out here a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 days. We've traded up to 247 and failed. So if we get above that and can close above 247, I think we've got some nice upside left on Mr. Price. And the last one I'm going to show this morning is Kumba, along with the rest of the, let me zoom it forward a little bit here, the rest of the mining sector has been an absolute dog. This thing's actually been holding pretty well over the last little while. It got down faster than the others got down. To me, this we did take out closing lows that were at about 233 yesterday, but we're still not below. We still haven't hit all-time lows or multi-year lows. I think 230 is also a bit of a level. We did close a little below 230, so watch this one closely. I think, provided this thing stays down here, you got to expect that it's going to open soft this morning. I think we got 20 Rand of downside from the 230 level, putting us down to about $210 in Kumba. And that's it for today, guys. Be careful out there. We're going to see huge volatility for the foreseeable future. Good luck.